Good evening, Tony Datino, doing my live with Tony on Wednesday. We are up to March the 2nd, and I'm not sure where the year 2022 is disappearing on me so quickly, but it's already 2 months through the new year, and it's feeling like the old year already. But my goodness, I wanted to cover something that we've talked about before, and it just continues to show up in the various newsletters and healthcare bulletins that I subscribe to, and that is staying physically active. And studies continue to reinforce the idea that if we challenge our mind and our body, we can preserve our cognition for longer periods of time. And it gets me to realize that if you step back and think about our brains, which are up in here, and it's about a 3 pound mass, and we look at what feeds that mass, it's a combination of nutrition, chemistry. So when you think of chemistry, it's what do we breathe, what are we eating, and that chemistry then comes through nutrition with us. And so the question becomes, what foods and drink do we partake in that help to insulate and feed the human brain and the chemistry and electricity that is created by our neuronal pathways. And therefore, the question we need to ask ourselves, what nutrition do we provide to our brain? Right? We think of what nutrition do we provide to our body, nutrition do we provide to our heart, but there's a growing field of science that continues to reveal what nutrition do we feed to our brain. Well, in that same regard, we think of oxygen, breathing, exercising as providing fuel to our bodies, and we think mostly of our heart and our lung. And the question that I raise to people is, what oxygen are you feeding to your brain, which consumes about a fifth of the oxygen that you're taking in through your lungs, then processing through your blood that gets into your brain? So if you step back and think of that logically, then it would obviously make sense that the oxygen that we are taking in through our exercise routines are going to have a very clear impact on the health of our brain, along with the nutritional ingredients that we provide through the foods and the things that we breathe as well, right? And so the breathing has impacts just as well. So what are we breathing in? So tonight's Live with Tony is going to focus on the activity of what exercise can we do that provides the right fuel to our brains. So the focus is, yeah, the heart is important. Got to have that keep pumping the oxygen that goes through our body's systems and gets to our brain. And therefore, exercising can constitute various elements of positivity to our thinking, to our cognitive function. We can start by talking about aerobic exercise. So aerobic is one of the quickest ways, right? We get oxygen into our bodies through aerobic. And we can think about today I did some swimming today. So I went out into the pool. It's here, Windermere, Florida. It was 80 degrees today. I've actually been swimming in the pool without my wetsuit. And so off I went today to the pool. I wasn't sure if I was going to be swimming or not in it because I didn't know how cold the water was going to be, since we had a few nights here in the 50s and I see the steam coming off the pond. But I got to the pool this afternoon. I wait usually till around 2, 3 o'clock, and I wait for the sun to be at its warmest. And off I went into the pool, and I did 30 minutes of swimming. So I find I've done more swimming in the last 2 years with COVID than going to the gym and running out on the streets. So I've enjoyed the swimming. I swim on my back, look up at the sky, look at the birds, maybe a plane, the different shapes of the clouds. And I have had swimming be one of my regular routines and my regular exercises. And now if I don't get to swim a couple of times a week, I feel like I've missed out on something. So that's one of the things that we can do for aerobic. And if you're a swimmer, then enjoy the pool. And if you're in the Northeast, get ready for June. Start finding local pools that you can go swim in, at least hopefully till September. But one we can all take part of is biking. So 3 times a week, I go out and I bike, and I do not have one of these racers. I do not have any of these gear shifts. It's all me. I'm doing all the pedaling. So my bicycle is a Schwinn, and that Schwinn does not have any gears on it. It's got 2 tires, handlebars, and a seat, and of course a frame. And out I go 3 times a week, going for 4 miles at a time in doing biking. And not only do I find biking is good for the aerobics, so I don't do what I call idle biking, where I'm just, doing my sightseeing, but I'm biking with the purpose of working my thighs. So I'm working my thighs and my calves. My legs are working. My butt, obviously my buttocks there has got something to do with it all. And so not only am I getting aerobic exercise, but I'm getting physical exercise through the pedaling of the bicycle. And I even make it a point of going up some inclines. We do not have hills here in the Windermere, Florida area, but there are some streets that have slight inclines to them. And so I make sure I get on those streets when I'm out. And as someone was talking to me today, I need to be safe. So yes, I do stay on the bike paths or bike trails. A lot of biking here, but I stay on trails where I go around ponds. And if there's anything I have to be more concerned about, it's alligators that are in the ponds, especially when we get to April, when it's mating season. So April to August, I'm much more cautious of going around any particular ponds and the pathways around those as it relates to my safety. But the point of the matter is I do biking. And then the third thing that I do is I like to do running. So I will jog 3 days a week, and I'm doing 25-minute jogs. I do that at least 3 days a week. I used to do 4, but I've backed off as I have some hip challenges and some knee challenges. So I've backed off on my running, and I'm now at least doing 3 days a week. And I do 25-minute sessions each time. So I'm getting at least 75 minutes of high-intensity running that I do. And I complement that with flexibility and stretching. So the third area, so we have aerobic activity. I have some flexibility training that I do. And that flexibility provides me doing a variety of stretching out the shoulders, stretching out the necks. I've got a series of different flexibility programs, and I do find at times standing on a leg and moving in a different direction, doing twisting, it loosens up the whole spine, my upper back, loosens up my legs, and I do find there are times when I'm trying to do balancing ones. They help me with my balancing and my focus and staying straight, so it minimizes my risk of falling. So at least my body's used to some of these movements, which then I would hope to reduce my risk of falls. And then the third thing I do is bands. I'm using stretch bands. I'm using 5-pound dumbbells. And I have a program that I do at least twice a week where I'm doing bands. And I have found that I do the bands and the 5-pound dumbbells. Maybe I'm doing some sit-ups. I do make believe I'm sitting in the chair and I get up. Sit in the chair and get up without using the armrest. So I'm doing things again for my thighs. I'm doing things for my arms. I'm doing things for my lower back. And it's that combination of aerobic, flexibility, and weightlifting and aerobic that is a part of my weekly regimentation. And now you say, oh, gee, where do you get the time to do this? Well, let's start backwards. My bands and my weight and dumbbells, I do watch television in the evening. Especially during COVID, I probably watch more TV than usual, especially sporting events. So when I'm watching different sporting events, I'll be doing my 30 minutes of the bands and or the stretches or the dumbbells. So there's 30 minutes of a day that rather than sitting on a couch or a sofa or a lounge chair watching television, I am up being physically active. And I find that that's a good substitute for me also not grabbing snacks during watching TV time. So pretzels or chips or whatever it is, I substitute that. And I buy grapes. So I like, if I need something that's got a little sweetness, I look for some red and green grapes. So I have a combination of that, and then I'll have an apple, or maybe I'll have a banana a couple of times a week. So I'm thinking of nutrition and the fruits, right? Get my fruits that way, get my exercise in that way, and I'm building a combination, and I'm also getting off my butt for at least 30 to 45 minutes while I'm doing all of that. So if you think of take all of those things and you think of what the health advisor is saying is that staying active can change your mind for the better. And I just have worked that into my daily routines. And the only thing that's not fitting in that routine is if I have to run or I take bikes. I just find some time during the day. Maybe it's right before lunch, or maybe it's right after lunch, but well, it's usually before lunch, obviously. Or if I get up in the morning and I have that little bit of vim and that energy, it's out I go, and I like to run, especially when the summer gets here and it gets warmer. I like to run 6:30, 7 a.m. in the morning, and I get I've got a schedule. I plan it. I look at my calendar for the week and I think of what days might I not be able to go out and run, and I plan my 3 days of running on Saturday. And so Monday may be my first day for the week, and then I pick it up from there. If I go run on Sunday, I might run on Tuesday and Thursday, take 2 days off. If I don't run on Sunday, I run Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and take Saturday, Sunday off. So I do schedule my exercise activities. I do have them in the evening, I plan. But what I realize is the benefits are to me, and not just to my heart and my lungs and my physiology, but also to my mental fitness, which is something I want to maintain throughout my whole life. And I want to have a good long life. So those are the things that I wanted to at least share with you in tonight's Live with Tony. So have a good week. We'll see you back here on Friday. So have a good rest of your week. We've made it through what they call the middle of the week, and therefore let's hope Thursday, Friday turn out to be good days for you, and we'll see you then. And